Hi everyone, this is Moni Singh, and welcome back to our Teaching STEM podcast and video series. We are continuing down the path of STEM and specifically focusing on teaching coding, computer programming to young children. Continuing down that path, today I want to focus on um, discussing computer, right? A computer, what is it, and what are the main components of a computer? Now, of course, our kids are born. I mean, they are used to using some kind of a computing device. It's so normal these days. Everybody almost has it, and especially with what happened with the pandemic, we had 1.6 billion children who overnight became, kind of got behind the computer screen doing their regular classes. So things are quite different. But many of us still remember that there was a time when we didn't have a computer, and then we kind of slowly immigrated to the world of computer. At least I'm from that generation. So it's important to let kids know that computer is not something that was found naturally in this world. It's not something that just it was here. People created it. It's a technology that was created by people. And in the beginning of many of our STEM activities, STEM classes, programs, we used to have a discussion. We begin it with some conversation about, what's technology. And so, for example, of course, if you look behind me, we have trees and leaves and branches. All of those are natural elements, right? They're naturally available. Grass and bricks. Well, not bricks, but grass is. So those are all, they're not technology. They're naturally available products, items. However, anytime you see something like a piece of paper or a pen or the laptop or the pot or the brick, chairs, all those things, they are now technology. And people get like when they hear the word technology and they hear a chair, they're like, no, 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 that's not technology, right? Because many a times we somehow associate technology to be something which can be powered. You something which you charge with an electricity, or you use it when it's connected to power somehow. But that's an incomplete definition of technology. Technology basically is anything that we people created to make our life easier, right? So even this little piece of pen is a technology created by some marvelous engineers out there who figured out that if we could put some spring in here and put it the right way, then you could have a clickable pen which can go in and out as needed, and helps you write. So you don't have to, you don't have to dip your your feather in ink to write back in those days. So it's important to let at least kids understand that this computer is a technology which was created by people to solve various kinds of problems. All right, so coming back to computers then, um, you can discuss with kids, especially again, given looking at the age of the kids that you're working with. You can ask them some questions about, what is a computer, what does it do. You can begin there, and I'm sure depending on the age of the kids, some kids may be able to talk about, oh, we use it to play games, or we use it to watch videos and do these things. Some of the older kids might be able to say that, of course, you can use it to do all those things, but then also write your reports. You're doing classes and so on and so forth. Um, and you can also start talking with them about, okay, what problem are computers solving? Because remember, each technology was created to solve a problem. Now, in case of computer, actually, computer is a technology, a tool which solves a lot of problems. So there's no limit to it, and you can take all the answers, make it an interactive conversation with children about it. So let's get into like one simple thing would be that before the computers were created, you may have heard about this tool called abacus, right? 4,000 years ago, they were using beads to make calculation, or even like when I was growing up, we still used to do like this, right? One, two, three, four, five, six. So you're using your fingers and the different segments in your finger to count. So now, of course, computers makes it a lot more easier to do calculations. And then, of course, we used to have calculators. We still use calculators, but computers, and if you're using used to using Excel, it makes it takes it to the next level, right? So there are lots of different benefits, and you can make it a conversation, a discussion, because you want to keep it like an inquiry-based exercise with the young kids, and really have them pull out what do they understand about this technology called computers. Let them extract what they already know, and that's when when they bring that out there, that's when you can start really stretching that, making new connections, right? That's how learning works. At the end of the day, it's about the neurons up here, and then making newer connections. And the more connections are there, the more that learning sticks. Okay, so let's go into some more as like more details about the computer itself. So the next question you can post for the kids is, what are the main parts of a computer? And again, you can have the children think about it and speak. And you can, on a whiteboard or whatever writing tool you have, you can jot down some of the answers. You could even have one of the children, child take on the volunteer role and be the recorder on a whiteboard. So you can have them just call out, and so they may say things which are clearly visible on a computer, right? So hey, there's a screen, there's a keyboard, mouse, speaker, there's a headphone, and what the different things that they can see, and you can start putting it on the whiteboard. And if you're not getting the kind of responses that you're looking for, you can encourage them to think of other devices again by posing questions. So we are going to keep it very inquiry based, right? Because we want the kids to be interacting with you and being part of this learning experience. So you could use questions like, "Hey, what do we use to hear sounds from a computer?" And then they might say, "Oh yeah, I have a headset or I have a speaker." You could ask question about, what do we use to get pictures on a computer? Like when we are doing a Zoom call, right? So now they can say, oh, we use a camera. What do we use to get sound into the computer? Um, so a microphone. How do you get power? I have a battery or I have a power cord that I plug in. And then what other things can I think of? So we have other parts of the computer like a USB port, and you can plug in a cable there, or some people maybe use may still from back in those days. I don't think many laptops don't come with that, but maybe a DVD player. So again, you can have them think about all the different parts of a computer, what they see visibly, and some children may talk about the central processing unit or a memory. You can note those down. These are internal to a computer. Most of the times you don't get to see it, but make a note and maybe you can put them in a separate column. Um, all right, so that's that. You can basically right now you're just in kind of almost a let children talk out what they know about it. Now, once you have written down all these different pieces of different devices that the children mentioned, now you want to think about and you want to categorize all the different items that are listed on the whiteboard, and you want to point to all the external devices, um, and you are going to start grouping them. Okay, so you'll point each one of them and have children explain and emphasize something going inside the computer or something coming out of the computer. So we're going to talk about all the input and output devices, okay? So anything that's bringing information inside is an input device, and anything which is taking the information outside of the computer will be an output device. So for example, if you look at a screen, right? And some children might say that, oh, we see video on it, or we can see our name when we type it, or when I type something and I can see all that thing coming up on the screen. So the screen, and then you can paraphrase that and you can say, okay, the screen or the display is showing you what you asked the computer to show. So it is bringing the information out to you, and you can write the word out by the screen or the display on the whiteboard. And now, if you look at the touchscreen devices, right, the iPad, the iPhone, the smartphones, the screen also acts as an input device by allowing you to touch and enter information. So a screen can also let you get the information into the computer, and you can write in on the whiteboard too. So screen actually in today's world has become both output and an input device, right? So when you're giving it a touch, that's an input now. Okay. Now let's think about the microphone. So again, you're going each of the items that we listed down on the whiteboard. Now you're going through each one of them and you're discussing it in more details with the children. So for a microphone, children can say, hey, we speak into a microphone so people on the other side can hear us. And so you can paraphrase that and say, the mic takes your sound inside the computer. And then you can write the word in by the microphone on the whiteboard. And you can keep doing that for all the other external devices. And then after you've reviewed each item, you can ask the children what's common about all these devices. And so what you see is that they either get something inside or they're getting something outside the computer. And these are the I/O devices or input output devices. Okay. And they're taking signals in or they're bringing them out. So you can do that exercise, and then you can ask them, right? This is a little bit of a brainstorming exercise. That so why do you need the input devices? What will happen if there were no input devices? And then again, do another brainstorming and ask them what are output devices and why do we need them, right? What would happen if there were no output devices? And you can really, depending on how much time you have with kids, have them really reflect. You can make it a group discussion exercise, have children, excuse me, pair up and discuss it together, um, and then they can share their findings. All right, so we talked about the input and output devices, and we're going to continue on looking at the components of a computer in my next episode. So take care, everyone. I hope this was helpful, and we'll catch up next time.